Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So, as you may have seen from some of my more recent shorts, I recently went to Niagara Falls, and I have a longer form video that's going to be coming out soon about that trip. But, I went to the Canada side, as you guys have seen, and yeah, I just want to tell you a little bit more about what the experience of crossing the border is like for people that have never crossed the border before. If it's your first time going international, just kind of want to give you at least my personal experience of what that was like and what to expect. This is going to be kind of similar to the how to get your passport video. Just kind of a simple, detailed breakdown of my experience of crossing the border for a first time beginner. So, first things first, on the weekend of June 27th, I went to Niagara Falls. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward to get there. I flew into the Buffalo airport via a layover from Chicago. So that was pretty standard. I didn't enter Canada through the airport, but I just flew domestically to actually get to Niagara Falls by Buffalo. So what I did was I rented a car, drove up there, and so really there's two ways you can cross the border. You can do it by a land crossing, which most of the time would be driving. In my case, I did not drive over the border, but I'll get to that in a minute. Or you can cross the border by flying internationally, which in 2 months I have a trip to Montreal. So I will be making a video about how to cross customs there and my experience at that time. But yeah, my entry into Canada this time counts as a land crossing. But like I said, I didn't cross in a car, which is typically 99.9% of the time you're going to be crossing the border in a car at a border checkpoint. But I actually crossed by foot, right? So on that same bridge where you would cross the border at Niagara Falls in Canada, there's actually a pedestrian crossing as well. So yeah, I was like the 1% of people that really just kind of cross the border by walking across it. But it's pretty similar. So what happened was, there's a state park. It's called Niagara Falls State Park in New York, right? And what I did was I just followed the signs that said pedestrians to Canada, right? So what happened then was there was this iron gate, and you'll see it in the long form video that's coming out soon. But yeah, it's basically like one of those little toll gates, in stadiums, but it's literally just like head to toe, like iron, and it turns when you're entering, but it doesn't turn the other way. So once you pass that little gate, you can't cross back unless you go through the customs door on the other side, which, like I said, look out for that video. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about here. But yeah, you cross that little gate, and then at that point, you can just walk to Canada. So the bridge is pretty cool. It's literally like a pedestrian crossing, right? And it's very beautiful. You can literally see the falls straight from the bridge. So yeah, I mean, it's got a beautiful view of both American Falls and Niagara Falls as well. One cool thing to know about the bridge that you guys will see in the video, there's literally a plaque where the actual border is in the river. So you can literally see like where you're standing on the U.S.-Canada border. And you can literally stand in both countries at once, which is really cool. But yeah, once you walk to the Canada side, there's a door and a room like literally built into the bridge. So it just kind of depends on the day and how many tourists are walking. You could be waiting 5 minutes, you could be waiting 30 minutes. I had to wait closer to 30 minutes. But yeah, basically there's a door and you stand outside the door, and the customs officers, they take you one at a time, right? So families will enter together. If you're an individual like myself, then you'll just go by yourself. But yeah, once you enter that door, the customs officer there just asked me a few basic questions. He said, "Where's home for you?" And I was super nervous. So I said, Huntsville, Alabama. I kind of looked suspicious, honestly, but he probably understood that, a lot of people are kind of nervous about these questions. But yeah, asked me where was home, answered that. He said, "Why are you coming to Canada?" I said, "To visit the falls." He said, "How long do you plan to stay?" I said, "About 2 hours." And then he said, "Do you have any weapons on you?" And then I said no. Obviously, I didn't have any weapons on me because I came from the airport. And yeah, he let me go into Canada. And that's another important thing to note too, guys. There are signs out there that say you do have to declare any weapons that you have on you. So that's why he asked that question, obviously. But yeah, once I was in Canada, I mean, it was cool, right? You know, I was able to tour the falls, and I didn't walk all the way down to the falls, but yeah, I got a beautiful view of both American Falls and Niagara Falls. And, you know, you'll see in the video when it comes out, but Niagara Falls, it's better from the Canadian side. You just get a better view, right? You know, on the American side, you can kind of see American Falls, but it's just obscured by the escarpment, which is, I mean, if you guys don't know about Niagara Falls, it's like a 200-foot drop off from the river, and that's why there's a waterfall there. Because it's like literally just this giant, you know, drop off, right, of rock, and the river flows over it. But yeah, anyway, you'll see all that later. But yeah, you know, I walked around Canada, you know, I got something to eat, and it was cool, right? You know, it was fun. But, you know, I obviously couldn't stay in Canada forever, so yeah, it was getting kind of dark, and I decided to go back to the American side to spend the night in my hotel. So one thing to note about Niagara Falls specifically, if you're going to go on that pedestrian bridge, you know, take $1 in quarters, because there is a little turnstile thing like they have in stadiums. It's not like the entry to the bridge, but it's just one of those little metal turnstile things where you have to pay the toll and then you can cross. I knew that going into it. So yeah, you have to have some change on hand in order to actually get back across the American side. Otherwise, you know, you'll have to get change from your debit card with an ATM, and the fees are just exorbitant, I've heard. So yeah, when you're going to Niagara Falls, just take 4 quarters with you, man. I mean, yeah, that way you're not going to get shortchanged, right? But yeah, that's one thing to note. And then same process as before. You know, you just cross the bridge, and again, you can just kind of linger there as long as you want, right? But at some point, you know, you do have to enter a room on the U.S. side that's built into the bridge, kind of like the Canadian side. And there are a few more questions there that the U.S. Customs officer asked me. He asked me, first of all, are you a U.S. citizen? I said yes, hand him my passport, and then they scan it. He asked me, what were you doing in Canada? I said, visiting the falls. He asked me, what are you doing here in Niagara Falls? Because it's a town on the U.S. side. I said, visiting the falls. He also asked me, where do I live? I said, Huntsville, Alabama. And I was a bit more confident answering his questions because I'd already been through the process before. Then he asked me, you know, do you have any family here? I said, no, it's just me, an individual traveling. And yeah, I mean, at that point, he said I was free to go. So yeah, you just exit on a door to your right. And then, yeah, from there, I just toured the American side a little bit. You know, it's got a beautiful state park there called Niagara Falls State Park that I mentioned before. And yeah, I'd also recommend checking that out. Goat Island too, it's pretty scenic. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience crossing the border. And from what I understand, if you're in a car, it's going to be a similar process where they'll ask you kind of the same questions. You got to declare your weapons if you have any. They'll just ask you, you know, how long you're here, where's home for you, all that good stuff, right? So really, it's nothing to be intimidated by. It's just something that, you know, could be a little nerve-wracking if you never experienced before. But answer the questions, just be cool, calm, relaxed, and you'll do fine. So yeah, that's my guide to crossing the border with your passport. And yeah, stay tuned for that vlog. I'm going to try to get it out a week after this video uploads. So I'm thinking Friday, July 10th. But I don't know how long it's going to take me to edit everything. Got a lot of footage. In the meantime, you guys are going to see shorts of Niagara Falls as kind of a little sneak peek. So yeah, keep watching my channel for shorts and look out for that vlog. Like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.